Right then, my friends, we are inside the building. It's just gone 3 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. How are we doing? I hope everyone is enjoying the show so far. I know I am. I've had a great time so far today, and we are now moving into the interview hour, which means we're joined by our first guest of the day. Man like Slim Kofi is on the line. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to hear from you this morning. Thank you for jumping on the line.
My pleasure.
It's obviously, this is one we've had in the book for a while, and it's been one I've been looking forward to, primarily because I know there's going to be a lot of stuff for us to discuss, a lot of stuff for us to talk about from different kind of areas of sound and music and everything like that. So I want to kind of start this conversation off with getting a bit of background on yourself. So for those, obviously, that don't know, because we have a really kind of mixed listenership to this show from loads of different areas of underground music from around the world. For those that don't know, who is Slim Kofi?
Slim Kofi is basically an immigrant youth from Ghana that's living in Holland right now, Amsterdam, for a minute. I think just over 10 years. And I'm a creative. Like, I'm into music, art. I just love everything creative. And yeah, in a nutshell. So that's Kofi, basically.
Nice, man. Nice. I mean, so it sounds like just from that, just to begin with, that it's not even, as you said, it's not even necessarily just the music. It's just the idea of being able to be creative.
Exactly. Creating stuff, I find pleasure in that. So, I do my best to make something out of nothing, in a sense.
Definitely. No, I feel that, man. I feel that, and I think it's good because obviously, we're not speaking to you from. Are you in Amsterdam at the moment? Are you still in Spain?
Yeah, I'm back in Amsterdam.
You're back in Amsterdam. Okay, cool. Yeah. Like, how have you kind of found that music making process whilst in Amsterdam? Obviously, like I find every different city around the world, especially kind of major cities and sort of cultural hubs such as Amsterdam, everyone seems to have kind of different stories from the different kind of places they're in. Like, how have you found kind of getting into that music hustle whilst you've been in Amsterdam?
Yeah, first off, like Amsterdam is a very multicultural place. So when you come here from all likes of the world, you get to meet different people, and then intertwining the cultures, it breeds its own new culture on its own. And that, I think, has played a major role in my music writing over the past few years. And also, I always try to stay African as most Ghanaian, stay close to the culture. So it's been a mix of Ghanaian culture with a European culture, but same time Middle Eastern, American, Australian, Asian. So it's a good blend. And also Holland is quite good for production. There's a lot of producers here that have a solo mind of their own on what sound they want for their music. So incorporating that as well brings a different kind of diversity to it.
Definitely, man. I mean, it's sick to hear because, like, it's one place that I've never been that I would actually be quite interested in going purely for that kind of music element. You know, I always hear about a lot of producers and a lot of people when they're touring saying that kind of Amsterdam was one of their favourite shows to play, purely because of the reaction and almost like the enthusiasm that people have.
Exactly, yeah, because I think they appreciate music a lot, and they know a good sound. So when they hear a good sound, they show appreciation to it. So that, and there's no, it kind of filters your work as well. So there's no sugarcoating it from the audience, which it's good. In a sense.
Yeah, no, I feel that, man. I think the interesting thing with this as well, obviously, you were saying you try to keep things obviously quite. You try to kind of make sure your roots are still there in your music. I believe is something which you said a little bit earlier on. So, like, what do you kind of mean by that in regards to kind of working with artists or just staying up to date with sort of the what's happening in Ghana right now? Like, what do you mean by kind of keeping to those roots?
Yeah, well, you have to stay up to date with what's happening in Ghana because lingual changes, terms change and everything. So I can't make African music if I'm not updated with what's going on in the streets, in a sense. And that is the core, the foundation of making the music. So I might be, because I'm also a songwriter, so I might be writing a pop song, but the backstory of the pop song might be something that's Afro-related. The vocals obviously stay the same. I might switch up a bit, but at the end of the day, foundation is the ground roots is African culture.
Okay, cool.
African in Europe culture. So it still evolves around Africa.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense though, man. It makes sense. I mean, kind of with that then, in regards to sort of like sounds and kind of, or more on kind of like a sonic level, I suppose. What are the kind of things music wise that you've always been naturally drawn to? Like what sort of sounds and kind of feels?
Rhythm, basically. It's always been rhythm for me. Drums. I love the guitars, the sounds of guitars to give it a bit of a tropical swing to it. But it goes with rhythm because they have this music style in Ghana, which is not even registered, but we call it jama. So basically what a jama is a bunch of guys get together and then we start making instruments with our body and whatever is around us. So we can start stomping or clapping. And when we have a synchronized rhythm, a vocalist just jumps on it and then starts busting a flow. So that's how I've made music growing up, or made music with my friends as jokes. So it all goes off that. It goes off the rhythm first.
Okay, I mean that's quite cool to dive into then. Like so with that idea of almost like becoming almost like human percussion in a way. Like
exactly.
Is that something you've ever kind of incorporated into kind of studio sessions since, or is it still sort of like almost quite recreational?
It's mostly recreational. I've tried to incorporate in the studio, but you always skip it at a point because we already have a project that we're working on. But I think that is something that I will do one of these days.
Nice, man. I mean, sorry, carry on. Sorry, I've interrupted you there.
No, I'm also quite curious to see how that would play out after going through mix, master, and everything. So.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of move on then. We opened up with a track from yourself, which was called Dancehall God, featuring Lenji, I think it's pronounced. Yes. So that came from yourself. So how did that tune come together? I want to get as much information out of you as possible today.
Yeah, Dancehall God, how do you call it? I ran into some situation with the law some time ago. So when I got out, my first studio session was with Lenji. He's a producer. My go-to producer in a sense, and then in a session when we were doing a session, I grew up on dancehall, or basically reggae, and then it evolved into dancehall. So my music has always also had a dancehall background for it, and living in Amsterdam and then making music for a minute in Amsterdam, and actually started promoting African music in Amsterdam, rhythm music. I just felt like making a statement about being a dancehall god in my own lane, in a sense, because when I make a dancehall music, it involves so many things. Not only the normal dancehall music that me and my friends listen to, or the dancehall music that's out there. So I just felt like representing that.
Nice, man.
That's how that song came out.
I mean, with that then, like, how did you find kind of the local response, shall we say, to you bringing those to bringing essentially that sort of dancehall sound with you?
Yeah, well, it speaks to an originality on its own, in a sense, because nobody does that. Nobody makes the type of music I make, because sometimes there's like 4 different languages in one song, in which other people do, but the way I deliver is quite different. So people obviously get curious, and I've been working around Europe for a minute. So Dancehall God was actually released from Denmark, Copenhagen, not Amsterdam.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So that was also a different response from that side, and then getting a response from Amsterdam, and then getting a response from Germany. So it was quite interesting to put all the response together, in a sense.
Definitely, man. I mean, it's a wicked tune, and it's definitely one that I'm going to keep on the on the Trickstar playlist, purely because it's one of those ones that it's a tune. As I was saying this to you off air, it's a tune that gives you that kind of undercover wide feeling. It's one of those tunes that you can kind of have in your headphones, and you can't help but find yourself moving.
Exactly. You just feel good song, but same time you can whine to it, and that's basically it.
That's what I like to hear, though, man. That's what I love to hear. So what we're going to do is we're going to move kind of forward then, because we've got another track I want to play, and then obviously we're going to look into kind of like the project you're working on at the minute, and then we're going to look at what's on the way for yourself. There's loads of stuff for us to pack in. So this one comes from yourself. It goes by the name of Kolo For You. So talk me through this one.
Yeah, Kolo For You was basically I recorded this right into quarantine, and then Kolo in Ghana means crazy. So crazy for you, basically, that's what the song is. And then it goes off the vibe of having a separation with someone or being at a distance from someone, but then still feeling super intimate or attracted to the person. So in a sense, it drives you a little bit crazy that you can't be in the same vicinity with the person.
Interesting. I mean, I won't lie, that's the first time I've actually heard that as a concept being made within a tune about lockdown. All I've heard for kind of lockdown music as a whole tends to be kind of people saying, oh, we can't go outside and we want to party. But this is quite like a nice kind of, it's quite a unique look at it, I suppose.
Yeah, I wanted to not make it sophisticated, but still have a backstory to it, in a sense. So then, yeah, I love listening to music that's just, all right, cool, rhythm and flow and vocals, all right, boom. But then after that, I wanted to have a meaning, because like I said, I grew up on reggae music, and almost every reggae music has some type of backstory or some type of connection to it. So, yeah, that was my aim, in a sense.
Definitely, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to getting into this one then, man. This has been it's been great to talk so far. I'm looking forward to getting into what's on the way, what's in the future, and obviously looking over the last year in regards to releases as well. So we are on the line with Slim Kofi. It's just gone 14 minutes past 9 here. We are live on Trickstar Radio. My name is Kofi at Cub KXVU. Make sure you are downloading the Trickstar Radio app. It is available via the App Store and via Google Play. And of course, make sure you are subscribing to youtube.com/CubCamTV. We're live inside the building. Right then, friends, we're back inside the building. How are we doing this morning? I'm having a whale of a time on today's show. Honestly, I've been loving these interviews. I'm loving the conversation. I'm loving the music as well. So that one, again, it's got that kind of that real kind of feel good vibe about it. Again, even though the subject matter on the tune is actually quite it's quite sad. It's quite distressing as a kind of topic, but it's still got that kind of vibe to it.
That's because it's all about emotions in a sense. So, be it sad or happy, whatnot, I want to be able to express an emotion that gets stuck with you for a minute. So, yeah, that was the goal, basically.
Definitely, man. It definitely hits it. And again, as I said, it's got the undercover wine feel to it. So with that sort of level of kind of energy and that sort of style of instrumental, I suppose, is that something you really seek out, or do you tend to find them kind of like landing in your inbox or producers throwing you stuff left, right, and centre?
Most of the sessions I do with like a producer that I'm quite comfortable with, because sometimes I feel translation get lost in translation when you try to explain to someone from a different cultural background what you want to hear. And Afro is now a sound that most people want to do. So what you have is you have producers that have been making pop or house for half of their career, just make a switch one day from I want to do some Afro, because they feel like, they know what an Afro production is.
Wicked, yeah, no, I know what you mean, man. I know what you mean, especially in regards to a lot of people wanting to get involved in the sound as well, because we are seeing such a worldwide now. We are seeing such a massive influx of that kind of Afro sound. Like, again, is that something is it quite popular in Amsterdam?
Well, Amsterdam was way ahead of its time, I should say, which has been Amsterdam regarding music for a long time. So Amsterdam jumped on the Afro wave quite some time ago. So I think now the producers out here are quite comfortable with the sound. So yeah, I don't really get that problem in Holland.
Nice. Well, that's good though. That's good, especially as that's where you're primarily based. You want to be you want to be somewhere where you know you can kind of be in a positive atmosphere to create the music you want to create. Definitely, man. That's good to hear. So with that, then obviously we've been in a period of worldwide kind of lockdown. And obviously you've been traveling quite recently and come back from it. How have you found more on a musical level the lockdown to be like? Have you still been able to get music done? Have you still been able to write? Like, how's the whole situation been?
Yeah, I've been recording steady, but there was a minute where I was like, I wanted to redefine what music would be like during a situation like this, or especially in a year like this, 2020, because we might take it light sometimes, but we're all going through a change. in our lives, and after this change, we will perceive life differently. So we will be listening to music differently. Some music will not make sense anymore to us, and then some music would actually hit us more. So I was trying to find that balance at a point during the lockdown, and I think I kind of did. So now the new music I have that's going to come, it's going to be the same, but a bit different in its own category, I feel.
Nice. So when you say like its own category, then have you got a name in mind, or is it literally just the vibe you've kind of got ready?
Yeah, I think it's a vibe in a sense. So I would not change the title for it or the genre for it, because it's still dancehall and it's still Afro, but it comes with a different take. So a different way of me perceiving my situation and the situation that the world is in right now.
Nice. Yeah, no, I feel that. So kind of moving forward then, obviously, into the last sort of year in general, shall we say, in regards to your sort of release schedule and what you've been involved in. Like, how has the year overall been? Obviously pre-COVID as well. It looked like you were picking up a fair bit of steam.
I have mostly features now, but it's features that's like scattered across the world. I recently dropped a feature with a Canadian DJ duo called Twins and David J from Denmark, Champion, and that's online right now, doing quite good. It's a dancehall feel song, and I have a feature coming from Turkey with Heike. I have a feature in Spain as well with Issa Bastet from Warner. So mostly I've been working on a bunch of features that I'm trying to release, but at the same time I have a tape that I feel I might drop now called Spanish Town.
Okay, so with that then, obviously that kind of like leaning towards features, is that something that you kind of did consciously, or is it just that's how stuff is kind of like spun out?
No, it was more consciously, because again, I've been traveling around a lot, so my fan base is quite scattered around, and I want to be able to please everybody same time, even though I know it's not possible, but still I want to make the effort to release music to my people that are around the world, because I might drop a song in Amsterdam and my fans in Australia or America might not understand it because the sound is not what they're used to.
Yeah, no, I feel that, and I think as well though with I'd say honestly with reggae and dancehall as a kind of overarching kind of parent genre, I think, and everything that kind of comes off that, I'd say like realistically that is now a genre that does almost dictate the majority of music worldwide to an extent, when you're looking at how many like genres and sounds at this point are directly influenced from kind of dancehall and reggae originally. Like do you still see that influence like happening quite regularly?
Yeah, there's a lot of productions right now that have Afro and reggae in the back. Like if you listen to most of the Hispanic music, the Latino music, the percussions, the drums are straight Afro.
Yeah, no, I feel yeah.
So the influence is still there, but it's sublime, which is nice, because music is a universal thing.
Definitely,
and I feel that's how it should be.
Definitely, man. And it's quite mad to look at it when you kind of think about how that as a genre reggae kind of started, and it's grown and it's become dancehall, and then it's become this essentially world engulfing sort of sound. Kind of with that, your sort of personal influences, obviously, as you said, you've grown up listening to a lot of reggae and dancehall flavors. Like, do you often find people trying to almost like drag you out of that zone and having you involved in other sort of sounds as well, or is that something you find yourself quite nicely rooted in?
Being a songwriter as well, I always find myself in the studio sessions with producers that want to do something else, because maybe we're pitching a song to other artists. So I'm always involved in other genres, making songs from other genres. But when it comes to my own work, I like to stick to the reggae, dancehall, Afrobeat.
Yeah, no, I feel that. And the thing is, though, I feel you've kind of you've definitely got your position in that, though. You know what I mean? It feels like you're very, very kind of comfortable. You know how to get a vibe kicking essentially within a tune. Like, in regards to like the future, then, with sort of personal solo stuff rather than the sort of collaborative side of things. Like, have you got a lot of stuff that you're kind of ready to work, ready to kind of get out there, or is it pretty much still a studio kind of scenario?
No, I have a whole bunch bunch of songs ready to go, and now I'm just trying to find the right timing to release them. So I think that's what I'm working on now, timing. So what would to you kind of initiate the right time? Like what are you kind of looking for in that time? In between the features I have coming out and my personal releases, I want because I have this song with the Easter Bastard, the one I said from Spain. It's called Mary Jane, and it's featuring Alberto Gambino, so it's another Spanish artist out there. And when that comes out, I want to release the first track of my Spanish Town EP. So timing in a sense from when my sound is being introduced to Spain, I want to give them something else that has some Spanish values in it, but then it's still Afro, so then it can continue that relationship with the Spanish people in a sense from boom, he's African, but at the same time it's a bit Spanish, because I'm not Spanish, but anywhere I go I like to infiltrate the culture. I like to get to know the people. I like to know what makes them tick and incorporate that in my work. So
amazing, man. I mean, but that
kind of time I'm talking about.
I think the thing with that is though, you must take so many kind of influences and kind of styles back home with you to your sound when you do that.
Definitely. Because that's the main point of intercultural relationships and understanding people from different parts of the world. Because if you don't kind of relate with them, you will not understand what they try to say to you, in a sense. So I feel like if I go somewhere and I eat their food, I listen to their music, I go to their bars and dance with them, if I put that in my music, next time I try to communicate with them, they will understand me more, and it might not even go off verbal communication, but just vibes.
Definitely. I mean, it's such a cool attitude to have towards things, and that idea of almost wanting to get involved with other cultures and places you're going is a sick thing, man. And I think it kind of speaks volumes, and it's quite evident in your music that you are that sort of character that wants to be involved and wants to and bring a kind of positive energy, which is sick to hear, man. And I've got to say, we've nearly run out of time for this, but I've had an absolute whale of the time this morning having a chat with you, man. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been a genuine pleasure, man.
Likewise.
So what I wanted to do is, before we finish up, grab kind of like your social information in regards to like what platforms is it best to try and get hold of you on?
I'm on Instagram as Slim Kofi, SLIMKOFI. On Twitter as the real Slim Kofi, and on Facebook as Slim Kofi. I'm not quite hard to find. If you just Google in Slim Kofi, it will pop up.
Amazing, man. Well, as I said, thank you for coming on the show. We'll speak soon. Obviously, we'll be in contact after this. Remember, people, you can catch the podcast for this show up on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. We'll probably be up online by about 11ish today, and you will be able to catch this video live on Cubcam TV as well. So go and check the channel, throw a subscription on it as well. Kofi, we'll speak soon, and stay safe.
Dan, no.
Bless. Right then, people, don't go anywhere. Keep it locked, because we are about to jump onto the line with Danny Jack and LS Dean for our second interview of the day. We're going to open up that segment with a track from Danny. This one goes by the name of Found My Source. Just gone 29 minutes past 9 here. We are live on Trickstar Radio, of course. Hit up Cubcam TV as well. It's Breakfast with Kofi, and don't go anywhere. Oh, yes.